Am I the asshole for refusing to log in under someone else's name at work because mine is hard to remember? I work as an interpreter at a clinic. This clinic used to have 2 interpreters at a time. Since COVID came around, one of them retired, leaving an open position for me. We couldn't have 2 at the same time anymore because it's a small office and we would have to sit directly next to each other. So I agreed to work in person once a week and work from home the rest of the week. It has been this way for nearly 2 years. My name, let's say it's Luna, is barely uncommon, but they have much more unique and rare names around here, and people remember ththose names. My coworker, let's call her April, has been here for years and I get that, but basically people don't call for me on our pager because they refuse to learn how to pronounce my name. This is a problem because I end up sitting here doing nothing while a contractor, more expensive per hour, does my job. I sit in the middle of the clinic in a big open area, visible from every side. Manager sends me a message yesterday and says to prevent confusion, you're going to log in as April on the pager from now on. April is getting a lot of missed calls on the days you're here, so the best thing for everyone is for you to just use April's name because everyone remembers it. I told her I won't do that because it's unfair and degrading and could even be a liability. She said I needed to take that up with upper management and wouldn't even listen to me about the better solution to have April forward her pager to my name on the day she's not here. That way people can call her and the pager will inform them that the call is being forwarded to Luna. She said I don't know about all that. You're to log in as her and respond to her calls. I stood firm, social anxiety through the roof at this point, and told her I will not log in as someone else. I'll log in as myself and take April's forwarded calls. She said she'll get upper management involved. Am I the asshole for not logging in as April, making it easier for everyone to just have to remember one name? TLDR, staff at this clinic haven't learned my name in almost 2 years, so manager wants me to use a name on the pager that everyone remembers. My coworkers. Edit. My name is Adriana, shortened to Audrey, for their convenience, which still isn't enough apparently. Also thank you everyone, you're making it much easier for me to stand my ground despite the anxiety. I really appreciate it. And now let's move on to the comments. Not the asshole. As a 30-year IT guy, logging in under someone else's name and password is bad news. Don't do it. You're exactly right about liability. If you're in the EU or access data of an EU citizen, that could even be a bigger red flag given GDPR regulations, which don't fool around. Would like to hear the take on this from the EU IT community. And OP replied, I'm in the US, and we have laws for the privacy of patients. Using her login wouldn't give me access to records, but it would log that she was the interpreter on during that time if something happens. Do not do this. HIPAA has guidelines in place to prevent this from happening. This is a huge issue and you should take it to upper management. There are many other solutions for this problem they can implement. I find it hard to imagine anyone would want to risk being held responsible for something their coworker may do when logged in as them. Any complaints filed, anything that goes wrong, even any misuse of company resources or any illegal activity, showing up as if she was the one doing it. People providing her name specifically. Their coworkers haven't even learned OP's name. I doubt she trusts OP's work enough to want to take responsibility for it. I wish not wanting to give out her employee login information would be sufficient. Would it also mean OP can access her payroll, modify her direct deposit? But some people are really reckless with passwords, so I'm not so sure that alone would do it. OP replied to this she actually does, but she's not very tech savvy and thought that was an okay solution until I explained it to her and told her we can just forward calls. Now let's move on to the update. Am I the asshole for refusing to use someone else's name? Update. Here is the original post, basically stating that I was told by a manager to use someone else's name at work and I refused. I came to the clinic this morning and picked up my Vocera, walkie-talkie type thing, and, in front of said manager, logged in as myself. I forwarded all calls from April and sat down at my desk. Not a peep from the manager, so I guess she's begrudgingly accepting my, much more logical, solution and dropping her argument. Thanks to everyone who told me I'm not the asshole, not overreacting, and encouraged me to hold my ground. Edit. I can't keep up with replying to everyone, but I want you to know I've read and updated every one of your lovely comments. Am I the asshole for yelling at my aunt that I want to go back to my real home? So I, 16F, and my little brother Ben, 12, live with our Aunt Katie, 35. She's like super rich. Like we live on a farm in BC and her house is huge. She's an engineer, she goes to fancy dinners, has met MPs and meets Business people a lot. Like she got my brother a PS5 the day it came out. Our mom was not rich, we lived in a one-story house, but I loved it. After our mom died we were supposed to live with our dad's parents in Ontario, but Aunt took us both in instead. I didn't really know Aunt Katie before that. Like I remember, when I was little she lived with mom and my grandparents, but then she was gone one day. Mom always said they had a bad fight, but she never talked about it, and Aunt Katie's told me enough for me to get their feeling that they didn't really like each other because of it. I know Aunt Katie loves me, like she'll teach me how to cook, go to my games, and help with pre-calc when she's around, but it's not like it is with Ben. Like she treats him like he is her son, and I've always just felt like I'm staying over. I dunno, I've really been missing home, and yesterday after dinner I asked her if I could go and see it, and she said no. When I asked why, she asked why I would ever want to go back there when she's given me so much better. It kind of started a fight between us, and she said she always hated that place and it had hurt her to go there. Then she said one day I'd appreciate her taking me in to house when it's mine, and I just yelled back that I want to go back to my real home. She just got really quiet and sent me to my room. I heard her crying in her room last night when I went to the washroom, and I feel bad, but I don't know if I'm wrong cause I just want to see it again. When I told Ben about it this morning, he told me I was an asshole since I made her cry, and she does so much for us. Writing this in my free period, so not sure I'll be able to respond much. Edit. Quickly putting this in before lunch period ends. My mom died when I was 12 and my brother was 8, and we've lived with Aunt Katie since then. She didn't just take us in this year. And now on to the comments. You're the asshole a little bit, but I'd give everyone a break in this situation. It's tough for someone who is 35 to suddenly be raising teenagers. She probably pays more attention to your little brother because he's younger, and she's not as sure what you need, but it sounds like she's doing her best. I think you should apologize and talk it out. Whatever she's reacting to, it's probably not about your old house and how nice the house is. She probably feels like she's put aside a lot of her own life to take care of you guys, and when you said you wanted to go home, it made her feel like she's doing a bad job. I think both the OP and aunt are at fault due to miscommunication. OP should calmly apologize to her aunt, but also explain why she wants to go to the house. Aunt should be understanding how hard this is on OP after losing her mother. Even after 4 years it is not easy to deal with. And OP replied to this comment, she didn't just take us in this year. We've been with her for 4 years now. And then we have this interaction between OP and a redditor in the comments that sheds a bit more light on the situation. First, let me say how sorry I'm for the loss of your mom. I can't imagine how difficult it must be for you. I'd have to say no assholes here. Honestly, I don't think anyone is the asshole here. You are still grieving, and that takes time. Your aunt is grieving too. Even if she and your mom had a falling out, that doesn't change that they were sisters. Your feelings are valid. Of course you miss that home because your mom was there. It might be helpful to explain to your aunt that it isn't so much the house, because you know her home is beautiful and she has done a wonderful job of providing for you, even getting material items that you wouldn't have had otherwise. The draw to that house was your mom, and you miss her. Truthfully, I'm sure she already knows this, but open communication will help you both through the grieving process and hopefully help you bond too. I'd like to ask you a question. I don't want you to answer me. Just think about it yourself and be honest with yourself. This is 100% not a judgment on you or your aunt. Just something to ponder. You said that you think your aunt treats your brother like a son, but you feel like you're just staying over. Do you think you feel that way because she actually treats you like you're less important, or because you might be keeping her at arm's length because it feels disloyal to your mom? There is no right or wrong answer, just truth. Once you know that truth, you can address it honestly with your aunt. If you haven't already done so, you might want to consider grief counseling to help you navigate this completely different life you are now living. Take care. You said that you think your aunt treats your brother like a son, but you feel like you're just staying over. Do you think you feel that way because she actually treats you like you're less important, or because you might be keeping her at arm's length because it feels disloyal to your mom? I don't mind answering. It's nothing like that. My aunt calls me by my name, whereas my brother she has so many pet nicknames and stuff for. The gifts she gets him on his birthdays are amazing. They watch shows together every night, if she's not at a meeting or a dinner. With me it's none of that. The only times it feels like she's like a mommy's when she's teaching me to cook, or when I cuddle with her while we are watching a movie or things like that. Other than small things like that, it just feels distant, like I'm not supposed to be there. Maybe she doesn't see it like that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Do you reach out to her at all? She may be trying to give you space, since it can be difficult to gauge how much affection you can give a teenager without making them feel like you're babying them. She could be waiting for you to let her know that you want to spend more time with her. I suspect both of you wish you had a closer relationship and are waiting for the other to open that door. I think that I've tried, but I guess I don't know if I do it right. Like, I do want to be closer, since she is the closest thing I have to a mom, and I guess I do get jealous of my brother cause of that. Tell her that you value the moments you share together when you're cooking or watching movies, and you'd like to be able to spend time and feel that connection with her more. If you don't feel comfortable starting that conversation, you might have an easier time writing her a letter. That way you can have all the time you need to make sure you're saying everything you want to say. I think getting that out in the open will help you both heal. No assholes here, by the way, just to be clear. The Reddit community seemed to have some good perspective and insight ready for OP. Let's move on to the updates to see if she resolved her issues with her aunt. Update: am I the asshole for yelling at my aunt that I want to go back to my real home? So the day I posted I didn't see Aunt Katie cause she was working all day. But the day after she surprised me by picking me up from school, Ben bust, she told me we'd talk about things at home. Then she took me shopping and then to the spa, and we had the best time together. When we got home after dinner she said we needed to talk now and took me to the nursery. I did get scared, cause that's the one room Ben and I aren't allowed to go to. She said she was sorry if I didn't think of her home as mine yet and would try harder. She told me how bad her parents were to her, but it was okay for me to keep loving them cause they weren't like that to home, but I can't anymore. She told me she left home cause my mom stole her master's tuition money to pay for me and Ben, and she didn't tell me this cause she didn't want me to ever think of my mom as bad, but I needed to know why she wasn't going back there. I honestly felt like shit at that point. She told me she took us in cause our mom was probably afraid what would happen to us when she was gone, and what if being with our dad's parents let him take us. Then she told me how everything she has is for Ben and me, and how it will all be ours when she's gone, and I just started crying cause I didn't want to think of her being dead like everyone else we love. I cried like a baby in her arms till my head hurt, and I think I ruined her shirt with all the fluids. I tried to remember what you guys told me to say, like how I should apologize and stuff to say to her, but I couldn't, so I just kept saying sorry. When she finally got me to calm down she asked if I felt okay, and I remembered what one user said, and I told her how I love doing all the things we do together cause it made it feel like I still have mom, and felt jealous she did so much more with Ben, like she wants to be his mom but not mine. She gave me a hug and said she loves me just as much and promised to make more time for just us. She did make me brush and go to bed, but she sat on my bed and held my hand till I fell asleep. I know it was babyish, but I did like it, and it did make me feel a bit special again. Since then things have been so much better. We've all been spending so much more time together, and it has kinda started feeling like a real family. I still haven't gone to see my old home and still want to, but maybe that'll come another time. I guess I'm just happy that things between my aunt and I are better, and that's the way it'll stay. Edit: my free block is almost over, and I'm not going on Reddit on lunch. I'm sorry I couldn't say thank you to everyone, but I'm thankful for everything that you guys said. It really means a lot to me. Love you all. Edit 2. Thank you for everyone DMing me about the mom for a minute subreddit. It seems like a great place, so maybe I'll be posting there in the future. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us. What were your thoughts on today's stories? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps this channel grow.